Hey, this is Dan Blewett. Today we're going to talk a little about the four-seam fastball, clear up a little bit of a myth, and a really quick grip tip that's going to really change the way you throw this pitch forever. Big shout out goes to Steve Montgomery at the Fargo Moorhead Redhawks, who taught me this and really made a big difference in me last year. I'm still learning things at 25, 26, so never too old to learn. Real quick tip, it's going to make a big difference in your four-seamer. So here we have a minor league baseball. And I want you to see the spin. This is why I'm going to turn around. So typical, what I see with young players, even high school, college, pro players, they're holding their four-seamer like this. Okay, that's the way I was doing it my whole life. Now when you really think about this, the ball is spherical, obviously. The middle finger is your longest finger and your strongest. So as the pitch is released, it's typically going to come off of your middle finger. Now if you see this split grip here, it seems like you're pretty centered, like these two fingers are going to evenly push on the baseball. Not really the case, again, because the middle finger is generally stronger and longer. It's typically going to roll off of that finger last, okay? I developed a really thick callus on my middle finger and just a little bit of a glassiness on my index finger. So last year, I was having some trouble. My four seam started cutting, dead straight for 25 years. The middle of my 25th year, it starts cutting. Wasn't sure why. Go to my pitching coach, says, hey, listen, you're holding the ball like this, and you think you're in the middle, but you're not. This middle finger where it's going to come off of is actually on the descending side of the sphere. So when you're releasing this ball, even though you look dead center, even if you're pretty close here, you're going to be a little bit off. So if you look right there, I'm pushing the bottom corner of the ball, and it's going to give a little bit of cut right there, okay? So the fix here, and I see a ton of little kids do this, and with little kids, they're going to have a bigger disparity in finger strength where they're going to be more likely to cut or run the ball by accident. I always tell young kids, number one, to eliminate this gap, right? A split finger fastball is slower because they get on the side of the ball channeling energy off of it. Your hardest fastball is going to put all your force directly in the middle. So if you have this big gap, you're going to get a little bit of English going one way or the other. You're going to lose a bit of energy off to the side of the ball. So number one, we want to put our fingers closer together where you can't get no more than a one finger gap in the middle. Okay, so right here I can't get a finger quite in there. That's a good gap. Okay, you want these two fingers pushing as a unit, number one. Number two, again, even if you're right here, you look like you're on the side of the ball, you're a little bit off to the edge, you're not dead center. So what we do, a little bit of tilt, just a little bit of tilt. When we release this ball now, you can see that thing's coming dead center, right? So that's a big fix. So I see a lot of kids when I'm playing catch with them or I'm watching them throwing to a catcher, I see a little bit of slow slider spin, and it's just taking a mile per hour or two off of their pitch, and it's making it less predictable where it's going to end up in the strike zone. So if they're doing this, I bring them closer. If they're here and still cutting a little bit, then we'll offset it, get a little bit of that diagonal look on the horseshoe here, and then they're going to be releasing dead off the middle when that ball rotates away. So again, kind of a little known fact about the ball. If you were off to the side here, this is how most coaches are going to teach a four-seamer. But when that thing rolls off, it's going to be on the descending edge of the ball, and you're going to get a little bit of cut. And for a young kid who doesn't necessarily want that cut, he's not going to know where the ball is going to go on a pitch-to-pitch basis. Okay, so little tip: improve your four-seamer right away. Those two little things. Fingers close together. If you're still cutting, overload a little bit to the side. All right? Thanks for stopping by.